Today's lecture is about the epithelial glands. Epithelial tissue is divided according to its location into body covering that cover the external surfaces and body lining epithelium that line the internal cavities and glandular epithelial tissue. Their functions is diverse according to its location, including protection such as in the covering epithelium and absorption as in lining epithelium, and filtration functions such as in the barrier system functions such as in the blood-brain barrier, blood respiratory barrier, and contractility, which is a function of a specific type of epithelial cells called myoepithelial cells, and secretion, which is specific for glandular epithelium. Classification of glandular epithelium divided different types according to the mean of their secretion, such as in exocrine gland, which is a duct system, is found as in the sweaty gland and the salivary gland, and the endocrine gland, which are called also ductless glands that convey their secretion directly into the bloodstream without a duct system, such as in the adrenal and thyroid gland. And we have a mixed gland, such as in the pancreas, contain both the mixed exocrine and endocrine parts. The basic classification of exocrine glands according to the number of secretory cells divided accordingly into unicellular gland containing a single cell with a duct portion and a multicellular gland. The unicellular glands as in goblet cells that found in the lining epithelium in the respiratory system, such as in the trachea. These are unicellular glands with narrow part, apical part represent the duct region. Here in H&E it is stained lightest in color. In other stains such as the pus stain, it is stained pink in color due to their content of glycoprotein, mucoid glycoprotein. In another stain such as in the Van Giesen stain, it appears greenish in color. Other system for classification according to the nature of secretion. Gland divided into serous type that produce a thin watery secretion, which is found in the pancreas, exocrine region, and the parotid gland, which is a purely serous in type. The serous acinus, made by a collection of polyhedral cells filled with cytoplasmic granules, and the nucleus is rounded and basophilic stained, and the center containing the lumen of the acinus. Mucous acinus, they produce a mucin, which is a hydrophilic glycoprotein with a lubricating and protective functions, as in the sublingual salivary gland. The mucous acinus appear light stained area in sections, and in higher magnification we can see the cells are polyhedral and contain no cytoplasmic granules. This is the site of mucus, and the nuclei are small and dark stained. And we have a mixed, as in serous diminution, in the submandibular salivary glands. This picture showing a section in the submandibular gland in which we have a mucous acinus, and at the periphery we have the serous region, or called the serous diminution. According to the mechanism of secretion, there are different mechanisms. In the merocrine secretion, or called eccrine secretion, the secretory unit is pinched off from the apical part of the cells without losing any content of the cytoplasm or cell membrane. While in the apocrine secretion, the secretory product is taking a part of the apical cell membrane with it when it is released into the duct system. In the holocrine secretion, the whole cell is pinched off or due to discharge of their secretory product into the system. We have examples for the eccrine, in which the cells secreting the secretory product without losing any part of the cells, such as in the parotid gland, and we have the mammary gland as an example of apocrine secretion, in which the cell losing its apical region including the cytoplasm and the cell membrane, and the holocrine secretion such as in the sebaceous gland, in which the whole cell bursts to release its contents. According to the shape of the secretory units, we have a tubular secretory unit and acinar, or also called alveolar, and we have a mixed tubulo-alveolar. According to the branching of the duct system, if it's simple, meaning non-branching duct system, stays single or called simple, and we have a branched duct system, and we have a compound glands. Simple tubular glands, which found in the intestine or in the colon, called cryptofluorococci, is example of simple tubular glands. Simple coiled tubular glands, such as in the sweaty gland in the skin. Simple branched tubular glands, such as in the stomach, intestinal gland, and we have simple alveolar or acinar glands, such as in the paraurethral gland, in the penile urethra, or the sebaceous gland in the skin. We have a simple tubulo-alveolar gland, such found in the small gland of the respiratory system, and minor salivary gland within the oral cavity. And we have compound tubular glands, such as in the Brunner's gland in the duodenum, and compound alveolar glands, such as the pancreas and the parotid gland, and a compound tubulo-alveolar gland, such as the submandibular and sublingual glands. This figure showing different types of glandular exocrine glands. Here we have a simple tubular, and we have simple coiled tubular, and we have simple mentioning to the duct system, and we have the branched tubular for the secretory unit, and we have simple branched acinar, and we have compound acinar, which is a branching duct system, and compound glandular part, which is acinar in shape. And we have a compound tubular on this side, and this is a compound tubulo-acinar in this side. So this is different forms of exocrine glands. Here we have the same forms, but with examples. So we have simple tubular, such as intestinal glands, as in cryptofluorococci, or simple coiled tubular, such as in the sweaty gland, or we have simple branched tubular, as we mentioned in the gastric gland, and we have simple alveolar, as we mentioned in the embryonic development of certain duct system also found, and we have simple branched alveolar, such as in the sebaceous gland, and we have compound tubular, such as found in the bulbourethral gland in the male reproductive system, and we have a compound alveolar acinar gland, such as in the mammary gland, and we have compound tubulo-alveolar, such as in the salivary gland of the gland of respiratory system and the pancreas. Duct of exocrine gland divided from the smallest one, called the intercalated duct, that lined by cuboidal epithelium, and they are modify the content of the secretion by secretion of bicarbonate ion and absorption of chloride ions, found in the serous and mixed gland, and rarely found within the mucous gland. Here we have a figure of the duct system, starting from the acinus. This is a mixed acinus. We have a mucous tubules, and we have a serous demione. First duct, called the intercalated duct, which is lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. Then it's followed by other duct system called the striated duct. The striated duct, this is the intercalated duct, and we have the intercalated duct in sections branched from the secretory unit, and we have the second one, the striated duct, which is made by cuboidal cells, or sometimes reaching columnar in height. They have a longitudinal orientation of mitochondria that form specific striation with a specific folding of the basal membrane, and they have a centrally located nucleus. Also, they reabsorb sodium from the secretion and add potassium, so they are modify the content of the secretion. They are found only in the serous secretory glands, such as in the parotid gland. We can see the striated duct. Striated duct and intercalated duct are called together intralobular duct, that found within the lobules between the